I think I'm kind of on board with not really wanting to play Freebooter. I think we could potentially play like one extra 3-drop if we wanted. We could do like a 3-3 split of like Prelate Captain if we wanted to. Do a 3-3-3 split. I don't know if I like that much. Maybe I just want to play one Ranger Captain. Could play Mariner. Mariner's okay. Mariner's okay for sure. Don't run too many 3s. Yeah, I think 9 3s is kind of the cap. Not sure if I like the images or not in this build. How bad is Coco? Not good enough. I don't know how bad it is, but it's not good enough, I think. Well, we have a giant killer in the sideboard. I mean, if you only have one captain, I don't even know if you're supposed to play it. I might play like 4 Forge-Tenders. Mayor of Avonbrook? I do kind of feel like we need a little bit more beef. Reflector Mage seems like a must for Murktide. People say this stuff all the time. Reflector Mage is a must for Murktide. Just race the Murktide is like usually my strategy against it. I just like Reflector Mage I think is a weak card, and you could race Murktide. You could win their combat plan against them. You won't always, of course. Yeah, Hamlet Campton's kind of interesting. Yeah, Mayor of Avonbrook is maybe good with Sanctum Prelate if like you're locking out your opponent's removal too. And I feel like what we need is like a beefy 2-drop. Wait, I have 4 Mayor of Avonbrooks? How do I have 4 of these? They're like probably not even on like any of the bot buy lists. Oh, Loran seems kind of good, yeah. Yeah. Secluded Courtyard. I mean, Courtyard has no real difference between Territory with no activated abilities, right? Hopeful Initiate. Need to reread that card. I know it's like a big Pioneer card. So, Training. Training is whenever it attacks with a higher power creature, and then you can remove 2 counters, destroy artifact or enchantment. So, Ranger Captain target. I don't think this card's very good. Courtyard is better than Ziggurat. That's true. Did I play this before Courtyard was... Yeah, I think this was like pre Kamigawa. I play Lavinia main. Lavinia is like the ultimate feel smart card, but I really don't think it's very good. You could play 1. Mantis Rider. Mantis Rider is worse than your other 3 drops. This is like not even very playable. Luminarch Aspirant. I do like Luminarch Aspirant. I do like that card a lot. Is it better than Mayor? It's probably better than Mayor. Hopeful Initiates are always 4 of in recent trophies. Don't know if it's good. It doesn't look that good to me. I don't know. Like, it never attacks for 2 on turn 2 unless you... I mean, if you have Lieutenant. Like, Training looks, like, hard to turn on. I don't know. Maybe it's not. No, I wouldn't recommend Collected Company in this version. I think you want to be on a lower curve. Werewolf Pack Leader. That's the green card, right? I think Aspirant's maybe probably a bit better, right? Pay prediction. Well, you'll get paid. You'll get paid. Is it 2 words? What is going on? Pack Leader is 1 word here. Pack Leader is 2 words here. No, I think Aspirant's gotta be better, right? Aspirant plus Sentinel is really good. Yeah, Cathar, Command, Adeline, we'll talk about them. I think I like this look of this main deck. Kind of Thalia for Lavinia or Mariner. I love to play 4 Thalia in humans. I think less than 4 Thalias is wrong. I think Lavinia and Mariner are both like this like feel smart cards, but like Sanctum Prelate is your protection is like your anti. Like with 4 Sanctum Prelate, I don't want to main deck a Lavinia. With 4 Sanctum Prelate, I don't want to main deck a Mariner. I'll get to that in a second, BCS. Oh, it's the Squad Chief 5-0. Isn't it free to play mono white Brave the Elements? No, because like almost none of your lands at the moment cast Brave. That is kind of interesting, like Brave over Noble Hierarch. But the problem is, I said these need to be. These definitely need to be white canopy lands, right? Mariner mostly seems good against Fury. Well, I'm probably gonna play 4 Forge-Tender in the side against Fury, but like I don't know, like the Quiet Secret Mariner's not that good against Fury because they just play it for 0 mana and then they kill 2 of your things and they just pay 2. You know what I mean? It's like it's not that good against Fury. That's true. Brave is bad with Prelate, right? Of course. Okay, never mind. I guess these. Why can't I just play 8 Horizon Canopies? Maybe I guess these tapping for Hierarch is fine. I have 17 white sources. I think I want to play 1 Waterlogged Grove. So let me play the red white. Well, we could play like 1 Ziggurat actually. Well, it has our 6 Canopy lands really good. Just play like 5. We have a plains. We have a plains. Do 1 Ziggurat. 2 planes? I'm probably okay. Extraction Specialist for 1 Adeline. I think you need to play 4 Adeline. Extraction Specialist could be better than the first Ranger Captain. I think I like the Ranger Captain though. What about Lavinia? Lavinia is like this card you get to play and feel really smart. But with 4 Sanctum Prelate in the deck, I think Lavinia is just overkill. I think I'll play the 4th Sanctifier en-Vec since like the main Fury deck at the moment is Scam, and if we're trying to be resilient to Fury, let's be bad. Let's play 4 Sanctifier en-Vecs. I'm gonna cut the Giant Killer since I'm only on 1 Ranger Captain in this build. And then I think Deputy's really good against Hammer. I don't think you necessarily want to bring it in against Hammer Time. Titan's pretty popular in this metagame, so I think I'm going to play the 4th Magus of the Moon. So the 3rd Magus of the Moon. Maybe we just play like 2 Drannith Magistrates. I mean, we already have like the 4 Meddling Mage, 4 Sanctum Prelate. I don't know that we need any of these actually. Maybe just play 1. Loran? Yeah, Loran's pretty good. Loran probably gets, like, we probably do something like 2 Loran, 2 Deputy. I don't think Captain is what you need when you have Sentinel, Thalia, Prelate. I would switch to ES. Esper Sentinel? I already have 4 Sentinel. Magus for Titan Saga. Not Saga, like Loran's more so for like random sagas, but Magus is for Titan, really. What is Containment Priest good against? Just creativity? Containment Priest is kind of bad with Vial. Extraction Specialist? Well, I don't know. Like, Ranger Captain just, like, getting Champion of the Parish is like, usually, like, pretty beefy value. And then Ranger Captain, like, sackability is like, I think a pretty nice line of text. But maybe Extraction Specialist is better. I'm coming down to try it. I haven't like really cast this card that often, so I think that's fine. I don't like Hierarch. I think with all the 3s, the Hierarchs are fine. Hierarch is a card of the past. I don't really think that's exactly true. It's like definitely the next best 1-drop. I think it's like much better than like Hopeful Initiate. I think you want to play 16 1-drops. I don't think it's actually that deep. No, I think Anointed Peacekeeper is good in like Legacy. I don't think it's as good here. I could be wrong. I think Reflector Mage sucks. I could be wrong. We do maybe need to play Reflector Mage in the sideboard for well, the problem is like if we're playing, so let's hammer out our Murktide sideboard plan, because that's probably gonna be pretty important, right? So against Murktide, I think I probably want to cut the Aspirants and the Meddling Mages, and then we can bring in 3 Forge-Tenders, 4 Sanctifiers, and then we have 1 more sideboard slot. Although maybe we do something like, I do think Reflector Mage is like, it's like good against like exactly Murktide and like not really anything else. So maybe we do something like no Drannith Magistrates, 1 Deputy of Detention, 2 Reflector Mage. Because if my sideboard plan against Hammer against I could just bring in 3 Sanctifiers against Murktide and the 4th Sanctifier against like Burn and Rakdos, and then it's 8/8. I could also cut like a Vial or a Hierarch and play the 4th Sanctifier. That could be fine also. Aren't deputies really hard to cast? No. If I have like literally any one of these 14 lands, they're castable. Oh, deputies. Sorry, deputy is harder to cast. Yeah. I guess we just play 4. Like the deputies are like largely Saga hate too. So I thought you were talking about Reflector Mage. The deputies are like largely Saga hate, but with Loran maybe you need that less. So maybe we can play 3 Reflector Mage. And so maybe you have to maybe if we're not playing 3 Reflector Mages, we actually only play 3 Sanctifiers. We have 3 Forge-Tenders. So we have 3 Loran, just 3. Can you send me my proto list of humans as good thing? No, I'm working. You know what I mean? Yeah, Deputy already hits Rhinos, but with this 4 Sanctum Prelates, maybe that's less of a concern. I'm down. I don't know. Riders of Gavany, Pitch Elementals. Dude, Riders of Gavany is 4 mana. It's 4 mana. It's not good against the Pitch Elementals. It's good against Elementals, though. Isn't Hammer probably tough? Maybe. So, like, Sanctum Prelate is really good against Hammer. Sanctum Prelate is really good against Hammer, especially on the play. Turn 2 on the play, it's, like, not really tough to beat, actually. And then in the sideboard, we have the Lorans and the Reflector Mages. It's enough. No, I don't think I'm that into Recruiter. This will be fun. I got a deck tech to do. Just let me get everything situated here. Something Mayor's been announced, but I don't know. It could be. But one thing I really like about Aspirant is like Sentinel into Aspirant is a really good curve. Why not Kitesail? I think Kitesail's like a little underwhelming. You could play Kitesail. But like the Sanctum Prelates also like cover a lot of bases that like like they're good against non-creature spells, if that makes sense. No Coco. No, I don't like playing Coco. Like Coco's a 4 mana spell on your Thalia deck, and I don't know. It's like you can play Coco over Vial. I tend to think that Vial is like really important to just overwhelm your opponent early in this deck. Alright, great hand. Am I going on game nights? I mean, I would love to go on. I don't know anybody on game nights though, or like I like a connection to anybody besides like the professor who's just a guest. Probably oops all spells. So like playing Thalia this turn to stop them from playing a Mana Rock is pretty nice. The Magus deck? I don't know. I mean, I've been kind of wanting to build Ave Storm. I don't think that they're that interested in a modern streamer coming on. Tried to build Ave Storm in EDH, it ended up being boring. I thought it'd be like really fun with Gaia's Cradle. I guess you kind of lack a lot of draw power. But like I was gonna play Garrick's Pack Leader. You can't play Kiora. Kiora would be so sick by the color restrictions. But I was gonna play Garrick's Pack Leader and like storm a bunch and then draw a bunch with Garrick's Pack Leader. It's gonna be awesome. I got drawing lieutenants this game. You have to buy 10 copies of Abe for the Storm. All right. I guess they're pretty cheap. I have a playset at least. Then you have to keep. So you could have like one foil one as your commander, then like regular copies for your Storm copies. That could be cool. You can play Cure as the commander and tutor him. I don't think you're not allowed to just play any Planeswalker as your commander, right? Okay, so Sanctifier and Vex stops. the Creeping Chills and stops the Salvage Titans. Loran blows up their mana rocks. Sanctum Prelate can stop the shuffle of the Thassa's Oracle. We're gonna play Magus. I mean, they play so many mana rocks. I don't know if the Maguses are good, especially not on the draw. I'm trimming on Prelates. And maybe trimming on Aspirants. Don't get that many turns in this matchup. Yeah, it's only a Brawl. Yeah, but yeah, getting to play Kiora would be like so perfect for that deck. I haven't really like sat down to build the list, I suppose. Okay, we can keep this. The Sanctifier is really good disruption here. I may hold the Sanctifier to Vial in response to them trying to go off. If I played against Breach, Lotus, Field Storm, Wisdom Scar. I mean, that's like a really old deck, but yeah, I played against it. You can play like one Magus, I guess. Lucy's such a good dog. Lately, Lucy's been doing this thing where like after the stream, I'll be like working on stuff in here, and Esther will come, you'll be sitting with me chatting, and Lucy will like slide into Esther's chair, and then she'll like crawl over Esther to get to me. It's so cute. Okay, maybe playing second Vial. We'll see. I guess if they play a mana rock this turn, I have to cast my Sanctifier. How good would Rim be against burn related removal? I don't know what Rim does. Don't know what it does. So if you got type exclamation point card Rim, I'll read it. But I have a hard time imagining any option is like better than Sanctifier and Vec. Or sorry, not Sanctifier and Vec. Forge-Tender. If a spell would deal damage to another permanent creature, prevent that damage. Yeah, not slipping Fury is kind of tough. There's a 3 mana. What's the Boros 3 mana guy? It's probably a little slow. It's like Tajik. Yeah, Tajik is kind of interesting. I mean, prevent all non-combat damage that we've dealt to other creatures you control. It's 3 mana. It dies to Fury itself, but does temporarily protect you from Fury. That's Mentor. It's not a bad option really. Okay, so they are going for the Undercity Informer here. So they're going to try to set up the Thassa's Oracle win, but then I can just Meddling Mage Thassa's Oracle. Yeah, so there's the Oracle. It's in the graveyard, and so what their plan here is going to be to Memory's Journey. Memory's Journey using the Pintad Prism to get their Thassa's Oracle to the top of their library, and then use the Jack-o'-lanterns to get the proper colors here. If I Meddling Mage name Memory's Journey, they die in their upkeep, which I think is probably a bit better than naming Thassa's Oracle. Because they could go Memory's Journey and get back Prismatic Ending and stuff too. The Sword of the Meek's Force. So usually Sword of the Meeks gets sacrificed to Salvage Titan, so that which triggers their Vengevines, but because we have Sanctifier and Vec, the Salvage Titan got exiled. Yeah, the dog cam's been here for a while. Lucy just usually hangs out with Esther instead of me during the stream, but I got her this. I have this nice chair for her. And the Dark Souls streams are also really exciting. I got, the PB is now 5 hits. We distanced PB'd yesterday too. We got to Orange Students mode, no hits. Like really, as soon as we get a run past Orange Students mode, we're live. That's currently my attitude on the Dark Souls run. Is that I guess as soon as we can get through Orange Students mode, we can get the run. But that's the big filter, is getting it. I got them on my second try yesterday, unfortunately. Okay, no second land. And we get to go Thalia into Prelate. Dude. Maybe not the best example of a match. Okay. They must have a creature here. Must be Ledger Shredder if they're shocking, right? I guess they can. Oh, no, they can play a 1-mana spell. Never mind. Sorry, I don't know why. I was thinking this was already in play. Okay, they are going to go for a creature this turn instead. 2 creatures this turn. What do you think about Rim? I feel like we just talked about Rim. That's the one that no one. I don't think I saw it in the chat. Maybe I did. Jimbo, 2 months, thank you. 2/3 flying haste with a spell or another permanent. That card's terrible. Or like it's not playable, not good enough rather. You let them connive here, which is tough. They can't get Delirium, which is better. How does attacks Thalia Indirect Prelate? Not in like a negative way. Like it still has a mana value of 1. You still can't play it. So if they have a Murktide, it's a 6/6. It's, you know, maybe beatable. My champion would be attacking for 6 if I can find a human next turn with double Horizon land. It's pretty likely. I don't think I don't necessarily want to let them connive here. I guess I should have sacked this first. I can't cast that. The prelate to play. Got a lot of chump blockers. Humans in 2022, that could be false hope. Dude, in 2023, Wall Tribal is 5-0ing. Wall Tribal is 5-0ing. But Humans players continue to be, like, the group of players with the most doom and gloom about the format, to be honest. there's you know, a lot of doom and gloom. I'll trade Murktide for Champ if they want. This gets in for a damage this way. I guess trading a higher... I mean, I trade higher for damage, but I get to keep a human. I get to keep this other 1/1, so it should be fine. Is a Wall Tribal Defender Tribal? I mean, Defender, sure. Like, not only is Wall Tribal 5-0ing, multiple Wall Tribal decks are 5-0ing. There's the Thieves version, and then there's a Chord of Calling, like, Wall Tribal version. Ever seen this work at all from Spider Space? Is it the Phoenix deck? I mean, this deck is interesting. I hate the Ragavans here, and I think that like you only have 4 discard outlets for, I guess 5 discard outlets for Phoenix. That's like 2 or 3 too few. I think that the Mutagenic Growths are really bad with Ragavan. I think that they are not very good without Monastery Swift Spear in general. I don't really like these growths. I think Swift Spear would be much better than Ragavan in the shell. Not enough discard outlets for Phoenix. Not egregiously too few, but definitely not enough. But you know, not a terrible first draft either. I guess that counter doesn't actually help very much. Yeah, Breach plus Phoenix, like there could be something there, but I have a lot of issues with that list, to be honest. Love Spider Space though. Alright, opponent. Triumphing. This is the Human Spirit. Triumphing over the evil Humans deck. Yeah, I mean, I think Swift Spear would be like Mutagenic Growth is not good in this deck. It would be okay if you play Swift Spear. You need to find at least 2 more discard outlets, ideally 3 more. I might play 18 lands. I don't know if that's kind of a small thing. Just a note. All right. Not too surprised that their hand does nothing. I mean, honestly, like they had a lot of creatures. They had a lot of creatures that game. For us, like locking them up pretty early. That missed land drop was really the nail in the coffin, though. So this matchup, we're cutting the Meddling Mages, the Aspirants, and then the 4th Vial or the 4th Hierarch. Doesn't this Phoenix deck lose the Sanctifier? I mean, yeah, of course. I mean, you have answers to it, but very tough. Fury just made humans unplayable. Humans is just not unplayable. Humans is maybe not the best tribal deck. Humans is maybe not the best deck for a tournament. I don't think that humans is unplayable, though. I would not describe it as such. I don't know. I don't know. Humans is maybe in like a kind of a positive position too, because I think it's pretty good against the breach decks, but I'm just not that low on the strategy overall. I think I blocked this. It kind of seems like they don't have a second land, maybe. I mean, I don't know, they could. Ooh, a second Ragavan. What creature in deck in Modern isn't Fury good against? Murktide. I don't know if you consider Murktide a creature deck. If they play Hierarch, we could Reflector Mage it back to our hand. That's probably not as good as like Specialist back Lieutenant this next turn. Fury's honestly not that good against Prowess if you play 4 Mutagenic Growths, I find. I mean, it's not terrible, of course. Yeah, let's just go Extraction Specialist this turn. Get dressed down. Hardened Scales loses to every hate card. Is that useful? I guess I'm a little confused what you're saying there. I mean, I feel like Scales is like a really, really powerful and underplayed deck too. I mean, Humans has used to be tier 1. What changed Fury? So Humans was not tier 1 before Modern Horizons 2. Humans was really far away from tier 1 before Modern Horizons 2. I don't even know exactly where you'd place it. But far away from the top of the metagame for sure. I can't even remember the last time Humans was at the top of the metagame, but like it's been a long time. It's been a long time. There was a time for sure. There was a time. But even then, even back when Humans was tier 1, this is something that doesn't get brought up very much. But even back when Humans was considered to be tier 1, it was always way more popular in paper than it was on Magic Online. It always put up way better results in paper than Magic Online. I'm not like drawing any like hard conclusions from that point, but I am saying that I always felt like there was something very interesting about that data point. Yeah, before Modern Horizons 1. Yeah, that's about the time frame. So it's been like 3 or 4 years. Humans has got a lot of tools. One thing to always talk about when we're talking about how decks have fallen out of favor or fallen out of grace is one really good thing to remember is that there are a lot of decks in Modern that like you can play with a positive win rate. There's a lot of decks out there that you can play and do just fine with. And there are just not a lot of Modern players playing some of these strategies. There's just like not many players playing Humans. There weren't many people playing 8 Blast for a long time. There weren't many people playing Creativity for a long time. There weren't many people playing Hammer Time for a really long time. Oh, they have Subtlety. Wow, such a perfect card here. And I'm not saying that Humans is amazing at the moment, but I think it deserves to see a bit more play than it has been. Dude, what was it? Super well-timed Dress Down, super well-timed Subtlety. Lava Dart is so bad for humans. Well, you know, one good news is Lava Dart's not is actually, I guess, picking up in popularity now, but for a while have been kind of unpopular. Although I one nice thing though is like with access to Sanctifier and Vec, like you're really like not too cold to the Lava Dart strategies. Like I think that like maybe pre-Image 2 humans was pretty weak to Lava Dart decks, but with Sanctifier and Vec, like you can beat those decks if you want to. We're gonna lose this one. Two in the play for game 3. Huh. Have I thought about allies? It's a more aggressive humans deck. Back in the day when I was grinding the like PPTQ, RCQ circuit, there was a player who played mill allies like really religiously, and usually did like okay with it. I haven't thought. I guess I really haven't thought about it much since like you know those days, but that's I guess that's all my thoughts on it. Dog. I honestly can't really remember his name. Justin, maybe. It's been years. I consider Cleric Tribal. We did Cleric Tribal as a Dono deck back in the day for my friend Dalton back when we did Dono decks. Three Asma food decks in 5.0. Awesome. Very cool. I mean, I think food is really underplayed. Like I could be playing, like I could obviously like be grinding red-green food and like, you know, getting a lot of trophies and stuff, but there's just like so much to be done, you know. The work is never done when it comes to Modern. Lieutenant would be a really good draw. Very classic, right? I guess I like attacking with Adeline here, since if they want to deal with it, they have to double block. And then I think I'm also okay with them like blocking Reflector, blocking here, taking 6, and I keep my Adeline. Oh fuck! I just totally miscounted. I thought the Thalia made this have 6 power. It's only 5. Well, that's embarrassing. I think it's still like not the worst attack. Yeah, I think our play is probably still the same, but I did think the double block was a trade there. Was Clerics before, after MTGO? It was before. I haven't done Dono decks since Modern Horizons 2. I might still have the list in my decks. Let me see if I can find it. Thank you, Horizon Canopy. Damn you, Secluded Courtyard. Yeah, so this was, you know, old Dono deck. I think Saffron Olive played it after this too, which is kind of funny, kind of cool. But the panel, so Clerics of Lifebond is like a really cool Soul Sister. Whenever another cleric enters, you gain a life, and whenever you gain a life, get a counter. So it's like a combination Soul Sister Johnny's Pride Mate, which is awesome. You have Pyre of Heroes to set up for like your Yawgmoth Hipatra combo. You can get Apollo for value into Yawgmoth. Righteous Valkyrie was another cleric payoff, which was kind of the worst one. You had Veto. The deck was pretty sick. Devout Lightcaster in the sideboard for Shadow. Yeah, very fun stream. Do we have outs? I don't think we have outs even. But Secluded Courtyard, it's Concealed Courtyard. It took a game loss. Brutal. Really brutal. Alright, glad to get a little bit of this flood out of the way before game 3. Getting to be on the play for game 3 is huge. Can't wait for Rivers. Yeah, I'm super excited. I almost want to play like, I want to trim Hierarchs on the play. I know it's maybe this is unintuitive. But Aspirant gets a lot better on the play. You have the nut draw of Sentinel into Aspirant. Aspirant is also better with Heart 1 Hierarch. I'm going to keep. Aspirant's also better with Forge-Tender and Sanctifier in the deck, which is maybe a reason to have kept them in. Like, getting counters on those can be kind of good. Thankfully, the ice melts today, or should mostly melt today. It's still going to be kind of shitty weather. But Lucy's been sliding around outside and has to wear her sweater always. You could do channel points for some in the deck. Redemption make it like 2 million. Yeah, it's just like it sounds fun in theory, but in practice, like, you know, I do like a lot of off-stream prep, and I usually like am really excited to like get into what I've been working on off-stream, and then if we do that, then like just randomly my plans get derailed. Okay, the one time I did at one point I did play standard for 1 million channel points. I did play standard for 1 million channel points, and like someone redeemed it, and we played one match of standard, and that match of standard took like, I'm trying to remember that one match I played mono red aggro. It took like 55 minutes or something like that, and we didn't play anymore after that. I returned the redemption, and it was a really really shitty stream, and I'm trying not to ever go through that again. I kind of like Reflector Mage here. I know you usually want to hold this for Murktide, but I don't like letting them connive. I like that I can go Reflector Mage, bounce this. They can't play another Ledger Shredder, then I get to go champ Adeline. I agree that holding this for Murktide could be better, but I think this is the best line available to me here. Maybe Reflector Mage is actually great, huh? I get to block this pretty effectively if I attack. So I can basically have an extra counter on the champ, deal them 1 damage, and have a 1/1 token if I attack here. Let's not. Could put the counter on Reflector. Yeah, maybe that was better. Maybe that was better. Would have definitely been better this game. Yeah, I mean, I know it can make this a 4/4 next turn. We're also like not that unlikely to have it be a 4/4 next turn, anyways. All right, big draw step, big draw step. Big draw. They only have 1 card in their hand. Reflector Mage is great. Best card in Modern. Hopefully their hand is 3 Ledger Shredders, huh? Channeler is so freaking good. Alright, Thalia's Lieutenant. Adeline, well, at least it's uncounterable. Definitely just attack it with everything here. Dead to 2 Lightning Bolts. That have to be the 2 mystery cards since one of their cards is Shredder. And then they go draw step, of course. They're down to 1. They're dead. GG. Yeah, it turns out Mage was good the whole time. Yeah, congrats on your wall, Trophy Chief. That's awesome. The deck looks so fun. Multiple wall decks in Modern are 5-0ing. There's the Deceive version, and then whatever the Chief version is. Ideas for a Toxic Infect Modern Brew? Yeah, I mean, we'll be playing the Rot Priest for sure when it comes out. I'll be very excited for it. Sweet. Yeah, keep this. So we're up against Kahira. We'll see if they're elementals. This Sanctum Prelate's going to be pretty bad, but they are control. I think I just want to play Thalia here. Oh boy, wrong type. Definitely, this is definitely the matchup to have the double Horizon Canopy draw, by the way. You're going to play Adeline? I think I'm going to play Adeline next turn, where I stop them from being able to counter the Adeline if I play the Thalia, unless they go Solitude Thalia plus Counterspell. And I actually get the token next turn if I have a creature that I can attack right away with. You like Reaper King as commander? Guess I tap this, right? I don't know. I mean, I don't have strong opinions on most commanders, to be honest. That was pretty late. What is the match against Murktide in game one? Won us game one against Murktide. I didn't draw it against Oopsal Spells. It was good against Mill. I punted against Mill. And then I forgot what the other we won a match, we lost a match, can't remember what those were. Would Exalted not resolve if you stack the triggers the other way? It would still resolve because you did attack with just one creature. That already happened. Which is the prerequisite there. You can play these pre-combat to make the Adeline bigger. I think we named 4, right? Might just get countered. Big stretch from Lucy. Guess they're taking this. They could maybe chump with like a Typhoon. Is wall combo just overgrown battle, X-Men Guardian, simplest 4 of the walls, infinite staff domination? There's other stuff going on, but that was part of it. Let me try to find Lieutenant or Meddling Mage here. Oops, all Adeline. Why does blue-white suck so bad? I don't think blue-white's terrible. Just boring to grind, maybe. Is it settling time? Probably not settling time. Think about the time I was playing blue-white versus human shortly after Modern Horizons 2 dropped. Their turn 4, they had a huge board including Thalia Mage, Naming Verdict, and the turn I cast Stress Down. Untapped with Verdict, gross. Really gross. Put us into 1? Oh, 2. We have to have Solitude plus Untapped Land plus Verdict. Get to draw a card too. I don't know why they went for 2/2 Shark. I mean, with Thalia in play, there's really no reason not to, but yeah, really no reason either way, I guess. I don't usually like Magus that much against them. I mean, it's also again just not a free roll at all. Loran kills Leyline Binding. That's about it. Probably not quite worth bringing in. Could play 1. Magus all copies. I think on the draw, when it's not a free roll, like a lot of times you play this and you can't cast any more spells, against the Solitude deck, against a deck that operates pretty well through Blood Moon sometimes. I'm just like not that into it. But like it's also very tough for me to respond to play all Maguses, because like if I have Magus of the Moon or Blood Moon in any sideboard, I have someone in chat telling me to bring it in every matchup. Magus is really, really strong. I mean, it can just win the game on the spot. It's much less likely to do that on the draw. Yeah, going through Dress Down is kind of nice. I think I'm down to play like exactly 1 copy and just click submit. It's usually game over. I just think you're exaggerating a bit or like misevaluating. Like, they're playing Solitude. Their deck can function through a Blood Moon very often. Although, what's nice is they're not going to play around the Moon very often. So, like, that is definitely a big point in favor. But, like, our deck also doesn't function very well when a Blood Moon is in play. And so, like, if we're not ahead on board, Magus, they have infinite time for the Magus. They didn't get a Trime or anything. That's interesting. But it'd be bad in multiples, bad against Solitude, but I'm down to play one. I'm down to play one. It's also true. My evaluation here could be wrong as well. I'm not definitely right, of course. Oh, they boarded in silence against me. This is classic Modern, huh? Look, my opponent playing around the Magus very hard here. I countered a Meddling Mage to Fairy Time Raveler here. Awesome word. Yeah, I always felt like deck was underrated. Glad you're liking it. Two for one. I guess Loran gets better with that card in their deck too. Yeah, very 2018. So it seems really not worth it. I mean, look, it's a 2 for 1 here. Y'all don't like 2 for 1s? Alright, so we're gonna prelate on 4, I think. Gonna just attack for a 5 first. Lavinia and the 2-drop slot instead of Aspirant stops evoke creatures and Cascade. Well, we already have 4 prelate, 4 Meddling Mage, which stop Cascade. I don't know. Lavinia is like the most overhyped card in Modern, I think. Like just full stop. I think Lavinia is the most overhyped card in Modern. People love Lavinia. People are just like, they go crazy for this card. They feel like a genius when they cast it. But it just like doesn't solve as many problems as you need it to. And it's slow. And the curve of like Esper Sentinel into Aspirant is really good. And when you're playing for Sanctum Prelate, you do kind of need the beef. You just can't play all hate bears, I think. And I think you need some beef here. And Aspirant's pretty good card. But people really do just like Lavinia is just incredibly hyped, and I think a little bit undeserving. But yeah, again, the curve of Sentinel and Aspirant is really strong. Is today's the first time I've seen anyone discussing Lavinia Modern? I feel like every time I play a blue and white deck, people like want me to play like 4 Lavinias. I don't know. I'm not saying that it's good, or like even that like the people who like Lavinia think it solves all your problems ever, but that card just doesn't, and I think it's like a bit too narrow. Not a card I would ever main deck. A card that you can play it in your sideboard though. It's fine to play it in your sideboard. My opponent maybe could have shocked here. I don't know if I would have attacked into like 5 untapped mana here. They have another Typhoon. A March. Okay, sure. Wait, how did they march my... How did they march my Prelate here? Wasn't that mana value 4? They didn't exile a card. They spent 4 mana. They paid extra? No, they played Steven's tapped. Didn't they? What am I missing? Like, I don't see a card in the exile zone. They definitely played Steven's tapped. X is 3. It says X is 3. I think that's a bug, chat. Which is like super frustrating because if it works correctly, they can't, like they messed up because they played the Steven's tapped. But like they definitely play Steaman's Tap because I made the mental note that like, oh, they can't hardcast Solitude here, so they definitely only had 4 mana. I think you're supposed to still be leading on Prelate here. Yeah, they did pay 4, and I had Prelate on well, earlier I messed up, and that's funny. No, yeah, I'm like 99% sure that was a bug. Why did... Guess they're filling that graveyard up, huh? Cashwell's not doing much the rest of this game. So even if I go Lieutenant Aspirant, I can't kill their hero. I think we just go Adeline, send everything at my opponent. This is the Brewing Prelate. I think you're right. That March is definitely mana value 4. That's not something I'm like confused about, right? No, it's fine. It's fine. We can move on, but. Ooh, they can untap their Hall of the Storm Giants. Frustrating because, like, obviously, like, they could have shocked in the Steam Vents. They could have shocked in the Steam Vents to march my Adeline anyway, so if they had played properly, we would have lost this game most likely anyways. But the problem is, like, they didn't realize, like, they weren't, that wasn't on their radar. And so it's like, they just would have lost if Magic Online wasn't bugged here, I think. Where does Control play Fire Ice? Like mostly to feel smart, I think. So counter here 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I can't get through the hall. So play Meddling Mage. Which I guess they're just gonna bounce they can just bounce up to Fairy if they want to. Awful plays Fire Ice. Yeah, I'm really just bantering, but I'm not like a big Fire Ice fan in Control. It's fine. It's not like that big a deal. I think for the most part, I really like the removal suite to be. Is there anything we really care about? For the most part, I like the removal suite to be like 4 ending, 4 solitude, 4 ending, binding, solitude, and then verdicts before I would play any Fire Ices. And you know, Fire Ice also competes with like Dress Down and Chalice in the 2-drop spot. And so I usually can't afford to play very many. But you know, it's fine. It's fine. It's a good card. Kahira in the hand. I think I'm just gonna go to game 3. Them having the 4-power Vigilant Double Striker or Lifelinker. Magus could be better on the play, although my opponent my opponent played really hard around Blood Moon, so I'll bring in 1 Loran because it kills Stony Silence and Binding and draws cards. Bye, Lucy. Okay, on the play. That's like 12. He puts the link in the chat. I'll be happy to take a look. I'm gonna keep this. My opponent's on a mulligan to 5, which is better. This hand is bad against Prismatic Ending if we don't draw a land. If we draw 1 land, we're fine. Is Control favored against humans? I usually think it's close. I don't know. Don't play enough humans to know, really. Don't play enough Control these days to know, really, either. You will live. Aether Vial, you're going to live. Too soon. Too soon to say goodbye. Pretty bad that they're not immediately passing, huh? I like the list. I need to be reminded of how the Protean Hulk combo works, I guess. They have March. They have Ice, okay. Good play. Land? Yeah. So you Footsteps or Hulk, and then you get total mana value 6 or less, which gets you Karmic Guide, Carrion Feeder. You bring back your Hulk, you sack your Hulk to Carrion Feeder, which gets you Revelarch, any one drop you want, and then you loop these infinite times. Oh wow! Do you win by also getting back Neonate to, or sorry, Epicer to ping? That's pretty cool. Dang. Maybe I had the mulligan in this hand. Not really sure. But it's still on Molten 5. They had to use the charm to steal this. They can also vial in like Kahira and Solitude though. If we ever draw a land, we're doing okay. I guess you have the Visceraseers and the Carrion Feeders. I guess, like, why are we playing even one Carrion Feeder? I feel like for the... So does this beat, like, Pithing Needle? It's probably fine. Is 3 Karmic Guides, 3 Revelarchs too many? Maybe it is. Oh, what would you land? They did go for Kahira in hand here. So if I cast my Thalia's Lieutenant, then this is a 3-power creature and trade. So I think it's probably better to go for Luminarch Aspirant, since I'm only attacking with this champ anyways. Yeah, I mean, I like the list. I think someone interested in like playing the 4th Mutt over the 3rd Revelarch. And you're only playing 18 lands. I think you probably need to be like 20 lands in this deck. So I feel like you could somewhat easily go down to 2 Karmic Guides also. And maybe if you want to play just 3 Mutts, then you can also play just 2 Seer, 1 Feeder, and then get up to 20 lands. I guess I'm also like, is an Archon of Cruelty worth it if you're playing 4 on my grave, 4 Persist? I think the answer is very likely yes. I'm also like not convinced. So I guess because you have all these sack outlets, maybe Persist can be fine. But like it is a really big problem that when you just go Unmarked Grave Persist, your combo doesn't do anything unless your Protean Hulk dies. So you have to have also a sacrifice outlet. That's something I really don't like here. Try 3rd Lieutenant, huh? So maybe I could have played a Lieutenant because we had the extras here, and if they had a Verdict, this was kind of a better follow-up. That could have been the case here. Not doing so bad though. Yeah, definitely consider main decking an Archon. You also have like not nearly enough like answers to Graveyard Hate in your sideboard. I feel like I would imagine like almost your entire sideboard needs to be dedicated to Graveyard Hate. So you can play like the full 4 Wear Tear. I usually like Portable Hole over Prismatic Ending in these decks. Because the answer Sanctifier and en-Vec. Not that one's bad. I guess the Sanctifier is important to answer. And Rest in Peace a bit more efficiently. Although I guess answering Rest in Peace permanently with Ending is maybe better with with Ending. Hopefully they're all counter spells. Let's go ahead and put a counter here, so if I go Lieutenant next turn, which I'm very likely to, I can attack with 2 4/4s. It's even like maybe correct to just like completely scrap Persist from the deck. Like, I think Persist kind of sucks. Like you're really a Footsteps combo deck. Like if you get Persist, you can add more lands. You can potentially play like 2 Profane Tutors. Profane Tutor also really helps you find Graveyard Hate too. Ooh, big shark. Supplier should be in that deck. It could be. I think it could be. It's good with the Footsteps. We have a lot of 1-mana creatures already, and you really like the only card you care about graveyarding is Protean Hulk, right? Cheating, you know. There's a good chance like the mill just does nothing. Oh, control. Vat of Rebirth, barely looked at the deck. I love the deck. Does Vat of Rebirth sack the creature? Because you would play Persist over that, right? I don't think Vat of Rebirth does sacrifice the creature. Yeah, it's like way worse than Persist. I'm even suggesting cunning Persist. I know that it seems kind of crazy, but I'll concede to a Solitude here. I know that seems kind of crazy, but it may be just correct also. Okay, not violating in the Solitude. If they fire up the Hall, I can chump the Hall, take 7, down to 6. They're not firing up Hall. They may Hall on defense is an option, I guess. Nice to draw a land and get to play Extraction Specialist, get a Lifelinker in play. Could also play Adeline, just never drawing another land. Frustrating game. What if Kyle's Reconstruction humans could be viable? I would think it would be very unlikely. So I kind of have to put the counter here. So I can trade for Hall at least. Maybe tier 1 for 6 months in advance. Thank you. I mean, I'm just like gonna die, but whatever. Sometimes you die. Sometimes it's your time. Didn't even use the Aether Vial. Brutal. Feels extra bad since like I think we win the game in game 2 if my opponent if it's not bugged. Like either like I'm not accusing my opponent of abusing a bug. But they played this demons tapped with the plan to March of Otherworldly Light, X equals 4. That was an illegal play. And we would have easily been able to win if they weren't able to do that on tap and verdict. So it feels bad. Feels bad. Yeah, it was a 4-mana that was cast with a Sanctum Prelate, a non-creature 4-mana spell that was cast with a Prelate in play. We have the nut draw though. Esper Sentinel into dude, we're playing against control again. No. Not again. We do have the nuts though. Can maybe mulligan that last hand. Blue white's a good matchup. Yeah, I know it's like not bad, but it's so boring to play against 2 in a row. But, you know, how could you ever be bored when you curve Esper Sentinel into Luminarch Aspirant? How could you ever be bored? It's fine. I think we're bottom. Bottoming is fine. Another forum, same issue, smashing X goes to. Yeah, really weird. I guess Prelate is just bugged to not stop X spells on the number you name. Just a weird game overall. So I think I want to go Champion the Parish into Meddling Mage here. My opponent's shocked in Breeding Pool, so they're pretty likely to have Archmage's Charm. I guess we should do this and then play around Shark Typhoon by not attacking with the Sentinel. Okay, now we can attack with the Sentinel. I tried Ogre, Headed Helm, and a Blast over 1 CMC Vampire. Is that the 2-mana equipment that gives Double Strike? The recommission Double Strike thing? Hold on, let me check. Let me check on Ogre-Headed Helm real quick. Okay, so I didn't think it would take this much time to find, but I have a little Ogre-Headed Helm. I have one. Isn't that neat? Isn't that like fun? I thought it would take less time to find. Card sucks though. Card sucks. It's actually a life counter. It's a life counter. Look at that. Wow. Alright, see if we get verdicted here. No, we don't. That's right. They didn't exile the Meddling Mage. They're exiling Leyline Binding, costs 3 mana. Guess we're supposed to slam Adeline here since we still have the Mage on verdict. Don't play too many verdicts with Subtlety Solitude. Yeah, that's probably fair too. Will I do one morning if I wake up and have no urge or need to play Magic? I don't know. Start like learning how to program, I guess. Well, I'll do whatever I have the urge to do instead, I suppose. So many Solitudes. I wonder how many times you're gonna spam, I made a human Delver Secretive deck, haha, until I acknowledge it to... I wonder how many times you're gonna say that until I say something about it. Yeah, I guess this version, I think Magus seems to be a bit better. Yeah, today's a fresh run start. I finished the run from yesterday, we had five hits. Butcherman won. Haha! But Humans and Delver of Secrets it's not something that interests me, because for humans to be good, you need your deck to be full of creatures, right? You need your deck to be almost entirely creatures for humans to be a good deck. So you can use your human tribal payoffs. Thalia's Lieutenant, Thalia's Lieutenant being the best one. And if you are playing Delver of Secrets, your deck is full of instants and sorceries, which don't work with your humans. So it's not something that interests me. Yeah, we're gonna start another Dark Souls run today. Ooh, punished for playing the one of Ziggurat. Do I even cast the I'll cast the champ. I feel like I'm running into counter magic here. Reflecting Pool over Ziggurat. Could do that. I think I'm just supposed to jam this, not overthink it here. Be great if this got countered, so I won't have to think about what to name. Address down. What happens if the dress down stack triggers Tails Ended? It'll still trigger on the next end step. What was I going to suggest 2? I think I probably just have to name 4. 4 and then 3. Kind of like just tapping this first, because they might cast another dress down now if they have it. My name's Solitude, I think. And then I'm going to cast Prelate name 4. If they go counter into Verdict, good beats. Subtlety, sure. I guess we keep that on top. It's Fairy Time Raveler is the Iteration exiled card. Do I find myself lucky that I'm playing against control? I don't typically like to play against control like 2 times in a row on stream. You know, we're down like 200 viewers since we started playing against control. Maybe partially because I took a break to go downstairs to grab my helm thing. But it tends to slow down the stream a lot, so I'm not usually super happy about it. I'm still also a little bit bummed that we lost last match against to a bug. Thought that was a bit of a bummer. What bug? My opponent cast. Apparently, Sanctum Prelate doesn't stop X spells of your chosen mana value. I did finish the Dark Souls run last night. We did it in 5 hits. It's the new PB. I think the PB command needs to be updated though. Another fun Raveler. Yeah, the no-hit runs keep getting better and better. Tony, thank you for the raid. Hope you're doing well. It feels like we could get it any day, but like everything's just gonna have to go right. But for right now, it really does feel like it's just a matter of time, which is exciting. Yeah, it was one hit. I got Ornstein and Smo after the first hit, which ended our run yesterday. We were hitless until Ornstein and Smo. Then I got hit on this hollow in. I kind of think I like naming 2. I got hit on in a hollow in Sin's Fortress, Seath's Fortress, Seath's Castle, whatever. And then I got hit once on Sif because I got backed into a corner. I wasn't managing the battlefield very well. And I got hit twice on 4 Kings. Gross. I was definitely not expecting to get Endurance tier. I've never played Slay the Spire, but I've heard that it's I've heard good things about it. Is the new Atraxa playable on Goryo's Reanimator? I don't know. It's like a really hard ability to evaluate. I would say probably not, but I'd have to look at the number of types and do the math on like how likely you are to hit. How many cards? It's just, you know, it's kind of a lot. So they exiled the Meddling Mage, naming Solitude. If they were to cast a Solitude here, they would have to pitch. And they only have 2 cards in their hand. I guess 3 after the Narset, probably. They find a Prismatic Ending, but they're, I guess, going to use the Gyre Reach to lock me out. So I have to do what? I have to let this happen. And then I can... I mean, I can Waterlogged Grove on their turn. I don't really have outs, though. Let's just go to game 3. Is it playable with Bitter Reunion? I mean, I just don't think it's better than like many other options, to be honest. Yeah, Prelate seems a bit worse with their build. On the play, we'll go more on Magus. Yeah, I know I can draw on their turn. I just don't have... there's like not a card I can draw. Even like Thalia's Lieutenant's not enough there. And I can never play another spell this game. Okay, keep this. Definitely with the Magus in the hand, gonna play Vial on turn 1. Since you're not making much use of the 5-color lands, do you think you could build this with a more standard mana base to get some better sideboard cards? I don't think that there are a ton of like non-creature sideboard cards you're super interested in playing in a deck like this, but you potentially yes. Opponent's on a mold of 4, so hopefully we can be free of the blue-white control gauntlet soon. Well, let's be honest, I'm kind of surprised. I mean, I would never mulligan a 1-lander. I'll just draw a land. May use your game as example prelate bug report. Yeah, that seems fine. Yeah. Good news is this draw is really crazy. Not sure how easy it would have been for my opponent to win, even with a 7-card handle to draw. Like I still have Magus. Yeah, today as far as performance-wise, Doom has felt really smooth tonight. 13 creatures, 16 instants, 14 chance, 20 lands. Like I get instant creature land every time. Yeah, just like draw 3. I don't know. Okay, so we're 3-0. We're 3-1. If it weren't for the bug, we'd be 4-0. Although our opponents may be different. Oh, we have a league prediction though. Feels bad. Prelate. Like I think it just doesn't stop X spells, which is not super relevant in Modern, but came up. Do we have the nuts? Sentinel and Aspirant. We're still getting ice. Today, it's still like a little below freezing right now, actually. I thought it would be above. Things are fine for us. I know, I mean, our power grid sucks, but me and Esther are fine for the time being. I think, from what I understand, it's like mostly in Austin. Like a little more down south, they're having issues. But I could be wrong. I'm not sure how the news has developed. Oh yeah, relevant for prismatic ending, for sure. Oh yeah, it doesn't stop creativity too. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Like I guess I just like would maybe recommend this build in paper, but like not stopping creativity. I mean, creativity. It's kind of hard for to stop creativity, anyways. I'm not sure. Living End, huh? Living End's probably an okay matchup with the 4 prelates in the main. They're gonna take my Thalia though, which stinks. But we have prelates, Meddling Mage, Thalia. A lot of good draws here. I guess we land plus prelate for prelate to be good. Gonna play the card they don't know about here, of course. All electric in North America are terrible. Yeah, I believe that. I mean, the biggest issue I think for Texas, as far as I understand it, is that like, we're not tied to the national power grid, and so like we can't get extra power when we're struggling. But you know, at the very least, the executives of Texas's power grid can be richer, and that's a good thing. Yeah, we have like 12. I guess we have like 11 good top decks because one of our Thalias is gone. Shock and Breeding Pool, big draw step. Not a big draw. I think this game we're just supposed to go all in. I don't think we're very likely to beat cycle into Cascade. So we're just gonna go in, hope they don't have it, and go to next game if they do. Drew, don't start fights in chat. You got timed out. It's not that big a deal. Don't make it personal. I don't know how my opponent's playing. I guess the opponent's maybe double queuing here. Getting timed out is not a big thing. Moderators are, they're here trying to make the chat better. It's okay. It's not that big a deal. Like why does doing it? It literally doesn't matter why. Why does not matter. I don't even know what happened, but like you just don't need to come in and defend yourself to the mods. It's just not necessary. It's poor stream etiquette, really. Aspirant's so powerful they had to bounce it and then grief it. Well, I'm not going to play around Violent Outburst. They definitely have a Violent Outburst, but I also can't ever beat it. They should have probably casted in my draw step with these griefs, but it's okay. We'll go to the next game. So we're bringing the Maguses. We have kind of all of our sideboard cards in the main deck here. Got the Extraction Specialist. Did I watch Harry's new Tanglewire video? I did, yeah. I love Harry's videos. On the keep. Yeah, I'll be doing the Souls today. Probably after this. Sentinel trash. I guess, yeah. Drawing card's not that helpful. No Sanctifier, reducing its half their cyclers. Maybe Sanctifier is better than Sentinel too. Yeah, Sentinel doesn't really do anything. But much better against the other Cascade decks. It doesn't stop half their. It really only stops Architects and Grief, right? And Street Wraith. Okay, that's a good chunk. I always feel like Image was one of the best cards in the deck during 2018 Humans. Well, Image is like always feels like the best card because whenever you play it, like you're getting a good amount of value, but it's a card that's bad against like really efficient removal, bad against really efficient 1-for-1s. And I think that like making your deck more resilient to removal by not playing Image is good. All right, easy keep. What's the plan against creativity? Well, Prelate X equals 4 was a big part of it. Thalia is a part of it. Meddling Mage is a big part of it. Forge-Tender to protect your creatures from red removal is a part of it. I think that Prelate has no effect on X spells, though. I think that Magic Online is bugged for Prelate to have no effect on X spells, which is a big problem. Ooh, right on time. Champion of the Parish. Yeah, that's another great point. Image not being a 2-drop means, like, before when there were less good 3-drops, Image was better, but you're already really clumped at 3. Image is really a 3-mana spell most of the time. Great point. Probably fine to play Champion Sanctifier this turn. There shouldn't really be any way for them to Cascade next turn. Yeah, ending should always kill the Image. Yeah, Magus would be good here too, but then if I play Magus this turn, I can't cast any more spells. Should just be fine, no matter what, really. I guess one issue with this line is that I can go Prelate, and then they can go like Turtle it, and then they can untap and Cascade if they have a Turtle plus land. So maybe I just play Magus instead. I guess Magus loses to the same things. Funny enough, like because I have a second Magus, I now have another castable spell for next turn. Oh, right. They can Cascade if they have Shardless Agent. They have to have they can't have Violent Outburst though. Yeah, if we prelated into Magus, that was a better way to play around it. Oh, they didn't float any mana. Guess we win? They at least can't Shardless Agent. Saw your clip yesterday being mad at the single forest draw. Single forest draw plus Violent Outburst. Is there just a Discord for every deck where y'all talk every time something happens for Living End, a clip happens for Living End, all the Living End players see it? This is just like this for every archetype. Ordinary Hands, 12 months, and thank you. All the Humans players are in here for the first time ever. Oh no. To all the Living In Discord players watching this for the first time, what is wrong with y'all? How do you do this? They definitely have Violent Up. Oh, they're just casting Foundation Breaker. Okay, well. Want to link to our Dino Travel Discord? No. Alright, if they block the Magus, I'm just going to play Sanctum Prelate. Yeah, I know Outburst won't work, at least that turn. But like it looked like, I thought they were just trying to cast it there, and like they can cast it, but they can't cast the Living End. Sanctifier exiles the Magus is kind of funny. If they have somebody, don't I lose? If they have subtlety into land, violent outburst, or cascade, yeah. This line plays better against them just having land, violent outburst, which I think is way better than losing to subtlety, blue card, land, violent outburst, right? So much better. And the Dredge Discord of a Spark Spike Rage section. Yeah, I remember that Sodek, like, I beat Sodek in the last round of an early Modern Horizons challenge with Dothi Voidwalker, and I remember he was like, we can't play the deck anymore because of Voidwalker, like right after that. Ring gets better as more lands are printed. Why doesn't Glittering Wish become playable as more multicolored cards are printed? I mean, in theory it does. In practice, like 2-mana tutors are not that good in Modern. Can we keep this? We can maybe keep this. We have a Thalia. We have a Sanctifier. Sanctifier is not that good, though. I kind of want a hand with 2 hate pieces also, because this hand has more than 2 hate pieces. Because of grief. Right back the second 3-drop here. Guess this hand's also kind of fragile to grief if they take my Hierarch. Just draw land. This is also true, like, why isn't Glittering Wish... Like, Glittering Wish is, in theory, getting better every single time a multicolor card is getting printed. That doesn't mean, like, it's still, like, very, very far away from being good. Another big issue is that the main type of decks that want wishes are, like, Storm combo, spell-based combo decks. So, like, you can play it in Jeskai Ascendancy combo, but there's not a lot of... you know, multicolor cards typically are more value-focused than combo-focused. I think our 7-card hand likely loses to Grief too. Obviously, don't know what we would have top-decked in that timeline. Hopefully draw a land. Bummer. Cheap shooters like Traverse also suck. Well, one really bad thing about Traverse is it like almost never tutors anything on turn 1 or 2. If Traverse was like always online, it would be one of the best cards in Modern. It's like never online, so not never, but too late online. Man, this game was painful. Could have kept the 7. The 7 again. The 7-card hand likely loses to the Grief 2. We have to top deck another disruptive piece, so I think I liked our mulligan there. Forgot we're not opening chests. Yeah, we would also 4-1 this league if the bug wasn't a thing. So definitely like, you know, bit of better results than it looks on first glance. I don't know if Sanctum Prelate is a card I would continue to play in humans, though. That was kind of like the experiment today. Like, the bug is really, really annoyingly relevant with all the X spells, like Prismatic Ending and Creativity, that are popular. So I might move back to Ranger Captain. I really liked Ranger Captain for a time. Just getting Champion is usually, like, you know, is enough beef, and then it's also, like, helps you in the combo matchups and stuff. What's going on in this image? This is a Dark Souls edit of Orange and Smo, who are currently the bane of my existence. They've been my background for a long time, even before I started running Dark Souls on stream. But they're carrying Colossus Hammer and Shadow Spear. Okay, I'm gonna pivot to Dark Souls now. If you're only here for the magic, then see ya. But the Dark Souls runs are getting to be pretty good.